Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so your friends see it. Thank you.
As Trump and Melania walked out of White House, everyone noticed tragic new thing about them. 16 years ago, the U.S. came under attack by radical Islamic terrorists. There were 2,997 people murdered in the attack carried out by the Islamic group, named Al-Qaeda. The Twin Towers was destroyed in the attack in footage that all of us watched with horror. Today, we have a populist president that wants to defeat Islamic terror and put this country first. We will never forget those that fell on that day. We will never forget the attack that occurred on our soil. We can never give in to the monster that is radical Islamic terror. Share this everywhere if you are proud that we have a president that is fighting terrorism around the world again instead of paying them billions of dollars. Trump has already defeated ISIS in Syria and it is not going to start there. God bless this president. Share this if you are proud of the amazing president that we have and will never forget the tragedy that occurred today. Thanks for reading. The Pope just picked a fight with Trump he won't win. Look what he just did. President Trump rescinded DACA last week and the Pope is not happy with it. He says that if the president calls himself pro-life then he should reconsider DACA. The Pontiff commented on his flight to Rome from Colombia and said that, although the decision is in Trump's hands, the issue should be rethought. The President of the United States presents himself as pro-life and if he is a good pro-lifer, he understands that family is the cradle of life and its unity must be protected, Pope Francis said. The Pope also weighed in on Trump's border wall during the campaign and showed the world how much of a globalist shill that he is. I think this law comes not from Parliament but from the executive, Pope Francis said. If that is so, I am hopeful that it will be rethought. This comes right after White House chief strategist Steve Bannon went after church bishops for their attacks on Trump. Remember, the Pope said that a person who thinks only about building walls, wherever they may be, and not building bridges, is not Christian. This is not the gospel, said Francis in February. Share this if you think that the current Pope needs to stop attacking our president. It makes everyone respect him way less. Trump wins again. The Supreme Court just announced what will have Trump grinning from ear to ear. The Supreme Court just sided with President Trump again, regarding his travel ban, which he ordered to keep Americans safe from radical Islamic terrorists. Just last week, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which appears to like going against the president, issued a ruling that, in part, barred the government from preventing refugees that have formal assurances from resettlement agencies or are in the U.S. refugee admissions program, from entering the United States. In short, the Ninth Circuit said, "Hey Trump, you can't stop these refugees from entering." Not surprisingly, Trump is working to change the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal. Acting Solicitor General, Jeffrey Wall, filed a request for a stay of the Ninth Circuit's decision. Then, less than 2 hours later, the Supreme Court granted Trump's request. In short, the Supreme Court disagreed with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals regarding whether to allow these refugees in. Importantly, the Supreme Court's action is temporary. Justice Kennedy, who signed the order, said they are waiting for a response from Hawaii. Reports The Hill, a federal district court judge in Hawaii blocked Trump's order in March and further weakened it in July by including grandparents, grandchildren, brothers-in-law, sisters-in-law, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews and cousins of people in the U.S. and refugees working with resettlement agencies in the definition of what constitutes a bona fide relationship. The Supreme Court sided with Trump on his travel ban in June, but carved out an exemption for people with a bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the United States. Way to go, SCOTUS! I'm sure Trump's appointment of Justice Gorsuch to the court has not hurt things there for Trump. If you agree, please comment "Way to go SCOTUS" and share everywhere to brag about Trump's successes. T. The Hill. Counter-strike right after Dems attack General Kelly, Kelly ripped them to shreds. John Kelly is a lot of things. He is a Marine, a general, a patriot, and he is the chief of staff. However, one thing he is not is a pushover who is gonna take shit from a bunch of crybaby Dems. Just last week, Representative Luis Gutierrez, DL, called Kelly a disgrace to their uniform after Trump repealed DACA. Oh, by the way, Gutierrez has never served in our military. Today Kelly struck back with something fierce. He said in a letter to Fox that Gutierrez and the rest of Congress don't do a damn thing to help this great nation. As far as the congressmen and other irresponsible members of Congress are concerned, they have the luxury of saying what they want as they do nothing and have almost no responsibility. They can call people liars, but it would be inappropriate for me to say the same thing back at them. As my blessed mother used to say, empty barrels make the most noise. Now those right there, those are the words of a warrior. Those are the words of a man with conviction in his action and country in his heart. Gutierrez could learn a thing or two in decency from Chief Kelly. In fact, that's exactly what we are gonna do. Let's get this out everywhere so anyone reading it can see how awesome of a job John Kelly is doing. These angels just did the most amazing thing amidst the devastation of Hurricane Irma. Now hang on to your hats, y'all, because when you find out who the angels are, you might be surprised. If you've seen any of the footage of the destruction and devastation from Hurricane Irma, you know how fierce she was. In the wake of her destruction, however, some NBC reporters showed some real heart. Carrie Sanders, a Florida-based NBC reporter, found dolphins that had washed up and were stranded on the beach in Marco Island, Florida. With the help of others, he guided them back out to the water. One was a baby. Now, I'm just kidding about this being a total surprise. I'm sure reporters have some heart. It's just hard to see it sometimes, with all the fake news they tend to spread. I'm so glad these people, including Mr. Sanders, went out and found these gentle, intelligent creatures and helped them. They were so careful, even checking with wildlife officials, to know the best way to help these lovely creatures. Apparently the surge was so strong, some dolphins could not swim against it and got washed up and left on the beach. Even when the men got the dolphin back into the water, it was so weak, it had trouble swimming in the still very strong waves. Please share this video out, to give your friends and family a reason to smile today. T. The Hill. Hillary blamed Bernie for losing. His response will have whole world laughing at her. Bernie Sanders is clearly done with Hillary Clinton and her constant attacks. This week, he finally punched back in a hilarious way. In a new book coming out this week, Clinton manages to blame just about everyone for her failed presidential campaign. That, of course, includes Sanders. In an excerpt, leaked online, Clinton claims Sanders' outrageous promises put her in a political straitjacket that kept her from appearing truly progressive. And Clinton is right, Sanders doesn't care about the numbers. But he does know one statistic, and it's absolutely brutal. He let it trip on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Secretary Clinton ran against the most unpopular candidate in the history of this country, Sanders said, and she lost. And she's upset about that. I understand that. Sanders is right. The media drove Trump's popularity down through relentless attacks coordinated with the Clinton campaign. But despite the collusion between the media and the left, Clinton simply couldn't get it done. She was so massively unpopular, she couldn't win an election that was handed to her on a silver platter. And Sanders isn't going to let her forget it. Keep fighting, Democrats. It'll only make it easier for Trump to make America great again. Share so that Clinton knows just how embarrassing of a candidate she was. We need to get it through her thick skull.